No matter your knowledge level or your length of experience in regulatory affairs, you're going to need to prepare for the RAC exam if you want to pass it. In this next portion of the presentation, we're going to discuss how to prepare for the exam and will provide general suggestions. It's important for you to look at your own strengths, weaknesses, and learning needs, and to formulate a study plan that will work best for you. So think about how you've studied and learned in the past, what's worked well and what hasn't. A first step in developing your study plan is to begin by assessing your current knowledge level based on your work experience. What are your current strengths and weaknesses? Look generally at your knowledge and experience to start to identify those areas for which you are likely to need additional preparation. Before we talk about the specifics of a study plan that you might formulate, it's important to realize that you will be learning new material, as well as looking at material that's familiar to you, but looking at it in a different light. So here are a few general suggestions that may enhance your study experience. Read and actively listen. Pay attention and concentrate on the material. It's important not to let your mind drift to what's happening at home or at work around you. Be confident and believe that you can learn and understand the material even if it concerns products or domains that are not part of your current job. You can relate what you're studying to what you already know. For example, you may find it helpful to relate it to the products and work of your current organization or a prior organization, or to the functions and people with whom you work currently, and to the work that they deal with on a day-to-day basis. Next, develop and maintain an interest in what you are studying. Remember, overall, this material will advance your knowledge and capabilities as a regulatory professional. Of course, it's very important to allow sufficient time to study and prepare. Ideally, allow at least 6 months for your studying. This gives you flexibility to accommodate the other demands that you may have on your time, including personal and work-related events that may interrupt your studying from time to time. 6 months at least will allow you sufficient time to learn and review new materials. It's important to develop a regular study schedule. Make it an appointment if you can, and keep your personal study appointments. Try to schedule multiple study periods each week. Some may be shorter, for example for reading and reviewing, while others may be longer as you review several weeks' worth of material. Generally, keep even your longest study periods to 3 hours or less, and try to study in a comfortable, quiet location, free from distractions. Now we're going to move on to developing a specific study plan for you. First, you'll want to review the content outline for the exam. This will help you to become familiar with the material you'll be tested on. The content outline is available on the RAPS website free of charge. You can use this content outline to create a checklist for yourself and identify the content areas on the exam where your knowledge is strong and you feel confident, as well as those areas where you feel less confident about the content. It's those less confident areas where you want to start your studying. It's a good idea to review the content outline periodically to identify those areas where you still need to concentrate your studies. If you created a checklist to assess your knowledge initially, you can use this same checklist and check off the areas as you master content in those areas. Once you've identified the areas of your strengths and weaknesses, you'll be able to really think and develop your own study plan. First, let's talk about identifying resources that may help you. The RAPS website has many tools. Some are available free of charge, some at a cost, but many of these tools are useful in helping you to prepare for the exam. There are courses, practice exams, and an appropriate Fundamentals of Regulatory Affairs textbook that can help. Those who have taken the exam previously often comment on the value of the Fundamentals textbook. Read its content and read it again and again. With each subsequent read, you will gain additional understanding and insight. You may also want to review the regulations, standards, guidelines, and guidance documents on particularly important topics. For example, IND and NDA safety reporting if you are taking the U.S. exam. Such resources are available free online at different websites. See, for example, the FDA, EMA, and ICH websites. Then start to create a study timeline, taking into account other aspects of your life, such as your work and family commitments, as you want to maintain a balance while you are preparing. Stick with that timeline as closely as possible as you prepare for the exam. If you fall behind due to a work deadline or other matter, try to catch up as soon as possible so that you can resume preparing for the exam according to your original timeline. It's best not to allow yourself to fall too far behind. With any study plan, it's important to set milestones for your studying. For example, by the end of week 1, I will have completed the reading of chapters 1 through 3 and prepared flashcards for these chapters. By the end of week 2, I will have completed the reading of chapters 4 and 5 and prepared flashcards for these chapters, as well as reviewed the flashcards for chapters 1 through 3. Think about how you want to assess your progress as you are studying. If you invest in the RAPS practice exams, you can take these as many times as you would like for 1 year, and these can provide feedback on your progress. Overall, think about what types of study tools work best for you. Some people prefer lists, for example, chapter-by-chapter notes, regulations by date of issue or subject matter, groupings by numerical items. Others like visual aids, such as flashcards. Some people read aloud from the textbook or their notes. What has worked for you in the past? Think about that. You can apply those same methods here. The next couple of slides show a sample study plan that begins 6 months before the date of the exam. Remember, this study plan should be individualized for you, so you may want to spend more or less time preparing for the exam based on your own needs and experience. Most importantly, you want to be sure to allow yourself enough time to prepare so that you go into the exam on exam day feeling confident. This first slide gives you an example of what might be part of someone's study plan at month 6 and month 5 prior to the exam date. As a couple of general suggestions as you prepare for the exam, remember to actively participate in your studying. Use multiple senses when you are studying. For example, you may have finished reading a chapter and made a list of important points. Review that list of points aloud and listen to what you are saying as you do so. You've now used 3 of your 5 senses in your studying, and that may help you to remember things a bit better. If you get tired or hungry, stop and take a break to refresh yourself or to have a snack. This current slide shows you the sample study plan for months 4, 3, and 2 prior to the exam date. As you enter the final week before the exam, it's a good idea to make a targeted list of those topics you may want to review again prior to the exam day. If you've been progressing through your study plan well, that targeted list will likely be short. Remember, this is only a sample plan, but if you want to use it as a template, be sure to customize it to meet your own learning needs and study schedule. And you'll see on the slide, we've got 1 month before the exam through 1 week before the exam some of the activities that you might be undertaking. We've already talked about some of the tools and resources that are available to help you to prepare, but you may also want to look at upcoming live or online courses from either RAPS or other organizations that are currently available. In addition, the Appropriate Fundamentals of Regulatory Affairs textbook is a good reference and contains additional reference suggestions in each chapter. Lastly, many local RAPS chapters offer study groups, or you may want to start one of your own study groups among friends and colleagues who are also preparing for the exam.